There is a moment. It arrives without warning. The world is completely silent. The people around you are asleep. The noise of the day has disappeared, and yet you are awake. Your eyes open on their own. Your heart feels something. Something you cannot name. Something between fear and longing. Something between heaviness and hope. It is 3 a.m. and you think to yourself, why? Why now? Why again? Why does this keep happening to me? Ibn Arabi, one of the greatest spiritual masters this world has ever known, said that 3 a.m. is not an accident. It is not your body failing you. It is not anxiety. It is not a coincidence. It is a door. And tonight, we are going to walk through it together. Stay with me. Because what you are about to hear may be the most important thing you have listened to in a very long time. The soul does not sleep the way the body sleeps. Most people think that when you close your eyes at night, everything inside you rests. The body rests. Yes, the muscles relax. The breath slows. The mind becomes quiet. But Ibn Arabi taught something that modern science is only now beginning to understand, that the soul, the ruh, the innermost reality of who you are, does not sleep the way the body sleeps. In his monumental work, the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, the Meccan Revelations, Ibn Arabi wrote with extraordinary depth about the nature of the soul during the night hours. He described the human being as a layered reality. On the outside, you have the physical body, but underneath that body is something far more ancient, far more alive, far more connected to the divine than your waking mind can ever fully comprehend. He called the soul a borrowed light, not a light that belongs to you, not a light that you created, but a light that was given to you, breathed into you by Allah, and that must return again and again to its source to be renewed. Think about that word, renewed. When you feel exhausted at the end of a day, not just physically tired, but spiritually empty, that is not weakness. That is the soul sending a message. It is saying, I need to return. I need to go back. I need to be filled again. And where does it go? Ibn Arabi said the soul, during the deepest hours of sleep, enters a state that he described as barzakh, a boundary between this life and what lies beyond. Not death, not a full life, but something in between, a sacred in-between space where the veils between the human and the divine become thinner than at any other moment. And the thinnest point of that thinness? 3 a.m. This is why your body wakes. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something is right with you. Your soul is returning from a journey, and sometimes the soul returns carrying something. A feeling, a knowing, a longing, an ache that has no name in any human language. Ibn Arabi said the people who wake during these hours are not being disturbed. They are being delivered something, a message from a place their waking mind cannot reach. So the next time you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering what is wrong with you, remember this: nothing is wrong with you. Something is being given to you. The question is whether you are awake enough, truly awake enough to receive it. Your body woke up. But is your heart awake? That is the real question Ibn Arabi is asking you. And this leads us to the second lesson, one that will change the way you understand every difficult night you have ever lived through. 3 a.m. is the hour Allah descends. There is a hadith, a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that is one of the most profound and most misunderstood statements in all of Islamic tradition. The Prophet said, narrated in both Bukhari and Muslim, that every night in the last third of the night, Allah descends to the lowest heaven and calls out, "Who is calling upon me so that I may answer? Who is asking of me so that I may give? Who is seeking my forgiveness so that I may forgive?" Ibn Arabi spent hundreds of pages across his many works unpacking the spiritual reality hidden inside this single hadith. He said that most people read these words and think of them as a simple invitation to prayer, and yes, they are that. But they are also something far deeper. He said the word descends. Yanzilu in Arabic carries within it a meaning that goes beyond physical movement. Allah is beyond space. Allah is beyond direction. So when the hadith says Allah descends, Ibn Arabi said, this is describing a drawing near, a closing of distance, a removal of veils. At 3 a.m., the veils between you and your Creator become thinner than at any other moment in the entire 24 hours of your day. Think about what this means for your life. Every worry you are carrying, every prayer that feels like it is hitting a ceiling and bouncing back, every moment where you cried out to Allah and felt like the sky was made of stone, none of that means Allah was far. It means the hour of nearness had not yet arrived, but at 3 a.m. it arrives. Ibn Arabi described the night as a mercy in disguise. The day is loud. The day demands your attention. The day pulls you in 100 directions. Your responsibilities, your fears about the future, your regrets about the past. All of it screaming for your attention simultaneously. But the night strips all of that away, and 3 a.m. strips it away completely. At 3 a.m., it is just you, and something vast, something that knows your name better than you know it yourself, something that counted your every breath before you were born, something that has never, not for a single moment, looked away from you. Ibn Arabi said, there are souls who are chosen to be woken at this hour, not randomly, not accidentally, but specifically, deliberately, with intention. He said, Allah wakes certain hearts the way a teacher calls certain students after class, not to punish them, but because he has something specific to say to them that the rest of the class is not ready to hear. Are you hearing this? If you are waking at 3 a.m., you are being called, specifically, by name, in the most intimate language in existence, the language of the heart. And the tragedy Ibn Arabi warned about is that most people who receive this call roll over and go back to sleep. They miss the appointment. They silence the call. They choose unconsciousness over the most profound conversation they could ever have. Do not be among them. The next time 3 a.m. wakes, you do not fight it. Do not scroll your phone. Do not distract yourself. Sit up, be still, and simply say, Ya Allah, I am here. I am listening. What do you want to tell me? That single act, that single moment of surrender can change the entire direction of your life. And this brings us to lesson 3. Because Ibn Arabi did not just teach us that 3 a.m. is special, he taught us exactly what the soul experiences during these hours, and it will make you look at your most painful nights in a completely different way. The soul carries your truest prayers. Have you ever noticed that at 3 a.m. things feel different? Not just quieter, different. The problems that seemed manageable during the day suddenly feel enormous. The loneliness that you kept busy enough to ignore comes flooding back. The grief that you thought you had processed rises again in your chest like water finding its level. Many people think this is a weakness. They think something is wrong with me. I thought I was okay. Why does it still hurt this much in the dark? Ibn Arabi had a completely different understanding of this experience. He said the night, and especially 3 a.m., does not create pain. It reveals it. It brings to the surface what was always there, hidden beneath the noise and the movement and the distraction of the day. And he said, this revelation is not cruel. It is mercy. Because what rises to the surface at 3 a.m. is not just pain. What rises is truth, your truest state, your most honest self, the self that exists before you put on your social face, before you perform strength for others, before you pretend you are fine when you are not. Ibn Arabi called this the sir, the secret. Every human being has a sir, a hidden interior reality, a most intimate self. And he said the sir speaks most clearly at 3 a.m., because it is only in the deep silence of the night that the noise of the false self finally becomes quiet enough for the true self to be heard. And here is the extraordinary thing he taught. This seer, this secret self, this truest version of you, it is in constant conversation with Allah. Not the conversation of words, not the conversation of formal prayer, as important as that is, but a conversation that happens below language, below thought, in the wordless space where the soul and its creator meet. When you wake at 3 a.m. feeling something you cannot name, that is your Sir surfacing. That is your truest self, rising up to bring you a message from the deepest part of your own being. Ibn Arabi said most people are strangers to their own seer. They live their entire lives on the surface. They never go deep enough to meet the truest version of themselves. And so when the seer rises at 3 a.m., they are frightened by it. They do not recognize this visitor from their own interior, but the one who truly knows themselves in the way that the great Sufi saying instructs, Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. Whoever knows themselves truly knows their Lord. This person welcomes the 3 a.m. rising of the seer. They do not run from it, they sit with it, they listen to it. And what does the seer carry? Ibn Arabi said the seer carries prayers. Not the prayers you have memorized, not the prayers you recite by habit, but the prayers are too deep for words. The things you ache for so profoundly that you cannot even form them into sentences. A child you are praying for, a marriage that is breaking, a loneliness so deep it has become part of your identity, a dream so precious you are afraid to even speak it out loud, a grief so heavy you have stopped expecting it to lift. All of this is prayer, even without words, even without formal supplication. The longing itself is prayer, and Allah hears it, every syllable of it, in every language and in every silence. Ibn Arabi said, do not underestimate the prayers that rise from you at 3 a.m. They are the most powerful prayers you will ever offer, because they come not from your mind, but from your Sir. And the prayers of the seer reach Allah with a directness that bypasses all veils. So the next time you wake at 3 a.m. and feel something rising in you, something raw and honest and painful and real, do not suppress it. Do not be ashamed of it. Let it rise. Let it be seen. Because it is already seen. It was seen before you were even aware of it yourself. You are not broken for feeling this way at 3 a.m. You are being given an opportunity to pray in the deepest way a human being can pray, not with the tongue, but with the soul. What the soul receives at 3 a.m. In the Sufi tradition, and Ibn Arabi was its greatest articulator, there is a concept called fath. It means opening, not an opening of a door or a window, but an opening of the heart, a spiritual opening, a moment where something that was closed and locked and inaccessible suddenly becomes available. Ibn Arabi said these openings, these futuhat, cannot be forced. They cannot be earned through effort alone. They are given. They arrive like dawn, not because you did something to create the sun, but because the sun moves according to its own divine rhythm. But he also said certain conditions make a person more receptive to these openings. Certain states of the heart create a readiness, a softness, an emptiness that allows the divine gift to enter. And the most powerful of all these conditions, the stillness of 3 a.m. Ibn Arabi described the soul during these hours as being like an empty vessel. During the day, the vessel is full of thoughts, full of plans, full of fears, full of noise. There is no room for anything new to enter because the vessel is already overflowing. But at 3 a.m., the vessel empties itself. The noise drains away, the thoughts slow, and in that emptiness, in that sacred, terrifying, beautiful emptiness, there is finally room for something real to enter. What enters? Ibn Arabi described 4 categories of what the soul receives during these hours. The first is kashf, unveiling, a sudden clarity about something that has confused you for a long time. Not clarity that comes through thinking harder, but clarity that arrives like light entering a room instantly, completely, without effort. You wake at 3 a.m. and you suddenly know what to do about a situation that has paralyzed you for months. You did not figure it out. It was given to you. The second is ilham, inspiration, a creative knowing, an idea, a solution, a direction. Artists and inventors throughout history have spoken of this, the inexplicable arrival of something new in the deep hours of the night. Ibn Arabi said this is the soul, in its state of openness, receiving from the infinite storehouse of divine knowledge a small fragment that it is ready to hold. The third is sukun, stillness, not the absence of pain, but the presence of peace within the pain, a settledness, a sense even in the middle of your most difficult night that you are held, that something knows, that something cares, that you are not, and have never been, truly alone. And the fourth, and Ibn Arabi said, this is the rarest and most precious of all, is mubashara, direct communication from Allah to the heart, not in words, not in visions necessarily, but in a knowing so deep and so certain that it leaves no room for doubt. A moment where the heart simply knows something it could not have known through any ordinary means. These are the gifts of 3 a.m., not the anxiety, not insomnia, not overthinking. Those are just the doorway, the uncomfortable transition through which you must pass to reach what is waiting on the other side. Ibn Arabi said, the people who learn to pass through the discomfort of 3 a.m. without running from it, these are the people who accumulate, over years and decades, a wealth of inner knowledge that no university can teach and no book can fully contain. They become people of wisdom, people of depth, people whose presence brings calm to troubled hearts, people who have met something real in the silent hours and been changed by it. This is what 3 a.m. is building in you if you let it. Why Allah wakes the broken ones first. There is something Ibn Arabi observed throughout his extraordinary life of spiritual travel and contemplation, something he noticed again and again across every land he visited, every heart he encountered. The people who wake most consistently at 3 a.m. are almost never the people whose lives are going smoothly. They are the ones who are carrying something. The mother who cannot stop worrying about her child. The person whose marriage is silently dying. The one who lost someone they cannot imagine living without. The one who has prayed for something for so long that the praying itself has become a kind of grief. The one who feels chosen by difficulty in a way they cannot understand and sometimes cannot bear. These are the ones who wake at 3 a.m. And Ibn Arabi said this is not punishment, this is selection. He used a beautiful and devastating image. He said Allah is like a master craftsman, and the craftsman does not work on already finished pieces. He works on the pieces that still need shaping. He applies pressure and heat and friction and time, not to the pieces he has abandoned, but to the pieces he is determined to complete. If Allah keeps waking you at 3 a.m., it is because He is working on you actively, intentionally, with a level of attention and care that you cannot fully perceive from inside the process. Ibn Arabi wrote about ibtila, divine testing, in a way that completely transforms how we understand suffering. He said, most people think of ibtila as something Allah sends to the people He is disappointed in, a kind of divine punishment. But he said the opposite is true. Ibtila is a sign of divine attention. When a teacher gives a difficult examination, they do not give it to the students they have already given up on. They give it to the students they believe are capable of passing. The very existence of the test is a statement of faith, the teacher's faith in the student. When Allah wakes you at 3 a.m. with a heart too full of pain to stay asleep, He is saying something to you, not in punishment, in intimacy. He is saying, I am here. I am close. I am paying attention to you specifically. Your pain has not gone unnoticed. Your tears have not fallen on an empty universe. I am present in this, and I am working. even when you cannot feel the working, even when the darkness feels total. Ibn Arabi said the people who are broken in the right way, broken open rather than broken apart, become vessels of a capacity that was impossible before the breaking. The cup that has been shattered and painstakingly rebuilt holds more than the cup that was never tested. Your 3 a.m. is not evidence that you are lost. It is evidence that you are being found, continuously, relentlessly, by a love that does not know how to give up on what it has made. The difficulty you are carrying is not the end of your story. It is the chapter where everything that matters is being decided. Never lose hope in the one who woke you at 3 a.m. to be near you, because the one who took the trouble to bring you awake in the deepest hour of the night has not brought you there to abandon you. He brought you there to give you something that daylight is too loud to deliver. What Ibn Arabi says to do at 3 a.m., knowledge without practice, is like a map you never use. Ibn Arabi was not only a mystic philosopher, he was a practical guide, and he gave specific, clear guidance for how to respond when you find yourself awake at 3 a.m. The first thing Ibn Arabi said to do, and this is perhaps the most counterintuitive, is nothing. Not nothing forever, but for the first few moments, nothing. Do not immediately grab your phone. Do not immediately begin making dua. Simply stop. Be still. Let yourself feel the full weight of the moment you have been woken into. Why? Because Ibn Arabi said the soul needs a moment to settle after its return from the barzakh. Like someone who has just returned from a long journey, they need a moment to orient themselves before they can speak clearly about what they experienced. If you immediately fill the moment with activity, you interrupt the transmission you were woken to receive. So first, be still. Breathe. Feel where you are. Feel what is present in your heart without trying to name it or fix it. The second practice Ibn Arabi prescribed is wudu, ritual purification, even in the middle of the night, even when you are tired. He said, the act of wudu in the deep night is one of the most spiritually powerful things a human being can do, because it is an act of pure intention in a moment when intention costs something. When you do it in the silence of 3 a.m., when no one is watching and no obligation demands it, that is an act of pure will directed toward Allah. The third practice is salah prayer, specifically the Tahajjud prayer. Ibn Arabi called Tahajjud the prayer of the lovers, the prayer of the ones who cannot stay away. He said, the one who rises for Tahajjud is making a statement to Allah that goes beyond words they are saying with their body. You matter more to me than my sleep. You matter more to me than my comfort. And Allah, Ibn Arabi said, responds to this statement with a response that cannot be contained in any human language. The fourth practice unique to Ibn Arabi's teaching is mushahada, witnessing. After your prayer, simply sit and witness. Witness your own breath. Witness the silence. Witness the feeling in your chest, whatever it is. Do not try to change it. Do not try to analyze it. Simply see it. Simply be present with it. Ibn Arabi said, mushahada, this practice of pure witnessing, is one of the highest spiritual practices available to a human being because it is an act of complete acceptance. And complete acceptance is the soil in which divine gifts are planted. The fifth practice is dua, supplication, but not the formal, memorized supplication of obligation, the raw, honest, unstructured supplication of the heart. Ibn Arabi said, at 3 a.m., do not perform for Allah. Do not dress your pain in polite language. Simply speak, or if you cannot speak, simply feel and know that what rises from your heart in these moments reaches Allah with a directness and a speed that nothing else can match. Tell Him everything. The things you are ashamed of, the things you are afraid of, the things you have lost, the things you ache for, the things you have stopped believing are possible. Lay it all down, in the silence, in the dark. And then the sixth practice, shukr, Gratitude. Before you return to sleep, not because everything is perfect, but because you woke up, because you were called, because you were chosen for this moment of intimacy with the divine. These 6 practices, Ibn Arabi said, practiced consistently, will transform your 3 a.m. from something you dread into something you quietly, privately look forward to. The private appointment, the secret meeting, the conversation that belongs only to you and your Creator. The soul that learns 3 a.m. becomes fearless. There is a transformation that happens to people who learn to meet Allah at 3 a.m. It does not happen overnight, but over time, over many dark nights and many silent appointments and many honest conversations held in the space between sleeping and waking, something changes in a person. Ibn Arabi described it as the shift from khawf to uns. Khawf means fear, the fearfulness that most human beings live inside, the fear of loss, the fear of failure, the fear of pain, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being enough, the fear of the future, the fear of the darkness. Most people spend their entire lives managed by this fear, making decisions from it, running from it, building elaborate structures to avoid ever having to feel it directly. Uns means intimacy, divine intimacy, the settled, unshakable sense of being known and loved by something that cannot be taken from you. The internal certainty, not as an intellectual belief, but as a lived experience that you are never truly alone, that the one who made you has not abandoned you, that even in the darkest hour of the darkest night, you are held. Ibn Arabi said the journey from khawf to uns is the journey of the spiritual path, and the fastest, most direct road on that journey passes directly through 3 a.m., because 3 a.m. is where fear lives. It is where the mind, stripped of its daytime defenses, confronts everything it has been avoiding. And the person who learns to sit with that fear, not to suppress it, not to escape it, but to bring it consciously into the presence of Allah and say, "Here it is. I am not hiding it anymore. I am bringing it to you." This person discovers something extraordinary. The fear does not disappear, but something larger than the fear arrives, and in the presence of something larger, the fear loses its power. It becomes manageable, something that can be felt and held without being destroyed by it. Ibn Arabi said, "The person who discovers through lived experience that Allah is truly present at 3 a.m., truly near, truly responsive, truly intimate with the soul that seeks Him, this person becomes a different kind of human being. They become the person that others turn to in crisis, not because they have all the answers, but because they have a quality of presence that calms troubled hearts. They become the person whose words carry weight even when they speak quietly. They become the person who does not panic when everything falls apart, not because they are indifferent, but because they have met something in the darkness that has shown them, in a way no daytime experience could, that the darkness is never the final word. They become people at 3 a.m. And the world, Ibn Arabi said, is always saved by its people at 3 a.m., not the ones who sleep through every night undisturbed, the ones who have been woken again and again and again, and who have chosen, each time, to sit up and be still and listen and receive. This is your invitation, not to suffer more, but to stop wasting your suffering, to stop enduring your 3 a.m. nights and start inhabiting them, to stop seeing them as interruptions to your life and start recognizing them as the most alive, most real, most divinely attended moments your life contains. The darkness is not your enemy. It never was. It is the hour of your training, the hour of your filling, the hour of your most intimate conversation with the one who knows your name better than you know it yourself. Next time 3 a.m. wakes you, remember this. Remember what Ibn Arabi said. Remember that the veil is thin. Remember that Allah is near, closer than near, in a nearness that defies distance. Remember that your soul has just returned from somewhere real, carrying something real for you specifically. Be still, be honest, be present, and let what needs to come, come.